Blog Talk Radio.
Don't touch me. I'll beat your brains out.
You believe in miracles? Yes! I mean, you can take a knee and try a 56-yard field goal. This is not Detroit, man. This is the Super Bowl. Let's get ready to rumble. I'm Sonny Liston. I'm Jack Dempsey. There's no one like me. I'm from Nairclaw. There's no one that can match me. My style is impetuous. My defense is impregnable. And I'm just ferocious. I want your heart. I want to eat his children. Down Frazier. Down Frazier. Down Frazier. What's that sound? Love that game over Stanford.
I think that the NFL knows what Randy Moss has done with marijuana, and I think the NFL knows what Randy Moss does with marijuana.
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game. Good morning. And thank you for joining me.
Top of the morning, everybody. Top of the morning. Happy St. Patty's Day weekend. Live from Los Angeles. This is Tough Love. I feel a lot better than I look. As I see myself right now on Facebook Live, I really feel better than I look. Went out last night, had a great time. Those of you on Facebook Live, the millions listening around the world on Blog Talk Radio, top of the morning indeed. Hope you guys had a great St. Patty's Day. Recovery, obviously, today. I'm telling you right now, what a great day to recover, too, because obviously March Madness is in full swing. The final, Tyler, what's up, buddy? The final, pairings for the round of 32 is today, with some big surprises. Tiger Woods, y'all. Tiger Woods is back in the hunt, second straight week, going into a Sunday in the top 10. So, if you're hungover and if you literally just want to sit around and do nothing, today is a really, really good day to do that. And that's what I'm going to do. And I'm super excited about it. I really am. I can't wait to watch Tiger. He tees off at 10:30. I'll get to Tiger in a little bit, in March Madness. NFL free agency, obviously the first week of it is over. And I'm trying to decide if I am going to talk about it at nauseum and at length next week, and just kind of, focus on March Madness and Tiger. And what I'd like to start off with is obviously the Kirk Cousins, signing by the Vikings. And so we'll see how it gets, for the rest of free agency. But like I say, I just want to touch on Kirk Cousins. Let me be clear, first and foremost. I'm not opposed to the signing of Kirk Cousins for the Vikings. I think it is a good signing. Let me just preface it by saying this. If Matthew Stafford, at 29 years old, became a free agent, the NFL world would lose its collective shit. That didn't happen with Kirk Cousins. Everybody, is like, oh yeah, 29 years old, the guy, it's very rare. It's very rare for a 29-year-old to become a free agent. And it is, and that's fine. But nobody ever talked about him being, oh my God, lose their shit, this is must-have type of a guy. I will shoot the people upstairs. I swear to God, I think they vacuum on purpose just when they hear me start the show. I'll kill them. But anyway, so with Kirk Cousins, my only issue is, and I guess it's possibly a microcosm of our society too, in the sense that why can't we just be honest with people? Why can't we tell them, you know what, Kirk? There's 9 quarterbacks who are better than you, and it's not even an argument, who are better than you, so we're not going to pay you $84 million guaranteed. I'm sorry. That's just, I don't understand why we can't say that to people. I know I'm not the best in a lot of things, and I'm cool with it. I can be told that. You know what I'm saying? It's all right. And so for the Vikings to give up $84 million to a guy who's who's had really 3 good seasons. There's no doubt about it. You know, he's had 3 quality seasons where they all equal to what Case Keenum did this year, which is great. You know, I mean, that's fine. He's done well in the system. I just have an issue with the money that is given. So the money, I look at it like this. If you're going to make more than Tom Brady, Ben Roethlisberger, 28 other quarterbacks, I think Stafford still has more. Hey, Woo, stop. God damn, it's just like everybody. And so for me, my expectations are through the roof then, right? If you're going to make more than almost every other person in the league, especially quarterbacks, I expect you to outperform Brady. I expect you to outperform Breeze, Roethlisberger, Aaron Rodgers. So for me, I just don't understand. And Mike, Michael Stevens says, I personally don't understand the hype surrounding Cousins on Facebook. And you know what? I mean, again, he's good. But, how much better is he than Kirk Cousins? How much better is he than, Sam Bradford? Or not Kirk Cousins, I'm sorry, Case Keenum. Or Sam Bradford. And I get it. Case Keenum had 1 good year. Kirk Cousins is coming off 3 good years. So there's more of a sample size. And Case Keenum obviously is a perfect storm. He was with Pat Shurmur, who really played to Case Keenum's strengths well. But Kirk Cousins has Jay Gruden, who really did well for Kirk Cousins too. Again, I'm not opposed to the signing. It's not that. It's just you gave Kirk Cousins more money than the best quarterbacks in the league. So therefore, for me, the Vikings went 11-5 3 years ago with Teddy Bridgewater. You go 13-3 last year with Case Keenum. Get to the NFC Championship game with Case Keenum last year. Granted, when Case Keenum threw that pick 6, I feel 100% that Mike Zimmer said, he's not my guy. He's not my guy. Because obviously that changed the whole dynamic of the championship game against the Eagles. We ended up getting routed, blah, blah, blah. Who's to say Kirk Cousins doesn't do that? It's not as though Kirk Cousins doesn't make mistakes. Again, if he was as good as everybody all of a sudden now is saying, then why wasn't there more teams going after him? We just saw obviously the Cardinals and the Broncos were in on it, but the Browns, the Bills, all these teams could have just been like, here you go. And the Vikings, who in my opinion were in a power position, could have easily just said, hey, this is what we're going to give you because you're not the best quarterback in the league. Sorry. And we have other people that we need to pay starting next year with Stephon Diggs and Barr and Kendricks and so forth and Danielle Hunter that, you know what? We'd like to keep these guys and we don't feel like you're that good. I'm sorry. We want you, but you're not that good. And so you can play with us or you can go to the Jets and suck and make it look as though you are all about the money and you're not about winning. Because that's what it would have looked like to me on the surface if he didn't like the offer here for the millions and millions of dollars that he's getting. And, then go the Jets. That it's as easy as that. The Vikings had the power in this position. I got into it with some friends of mine. Dino, Gene, good morning. About this in the sense that, negotiations are all about leverage. I sold cars for 15 years, and granted, it's not multi-million-dollar contracts, but it's the same thing. It all comes down to leverage. And for whatever reason, the Vikings look desperate in this situation to me. That's all it comes down to. They had the power going into this. Case Keenum had already signed with the Broncos. Again, are you about money or are you about winning? Because if he would have gone to the Jets, he's about money. And he's probably not very smart because you look at the Jets, especially what they just did, and I'll get to. But Chad, what's up, bud? I'm not opposed to him being our quarterback. It's fine. I think he's going to do very, very well. You can make a real, true comparison to the Drew Brees signing when he went to the Saints. He played 5 years in San Diego, or 4 years, did very well. Very well. In fact, San Diego, even after drafting Phillip Rivers, still offered Drew Brees a 5-year, $50 million contract, but a lot of it was injury insurance, if his shoulder held up, because at the end of 2005, he tore his labrum, had surgery on it. That's why the Dolphins didn't get Drew Brees. Crazy story. There's a tangent. But ends up signing with the Saints for a 6-year, $60 million deal, which a lot more money guaranteed. And so, but comparison's sake, you look at Drew Brees, and when he hit free agency, there were two teams, basically the Dolphins and the Saints, that were going after him. Nobody knew that Drew Brees was going to become a Hall of Fame quarterback at that time. He had put up 2 good seasons back to back, but as funny as it is, in 2004, he threw for 3,100 yards as a starter. I think they went 8-8 or 9-7, something like that. And then the next year in 2005, before he left, he ended up going 12-4. And so, he had a couple of good seasons, but he still only threw for like 3,700 yards. Kirk Cousins has thrown over 4,000 yards 3 straight years, and he did well in Washington. But it's not like everybody is like, holy shit, Kirk Cousins just hit free agency. Every team has got, if he was that good and your team didn't have Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Ben Roethlisberger, Drew Brees, the big guys, Stafford, Rivers, you should have gone for him. But nobody really was like, yeah, whatever. So bottom line is, I said it 2 weeks ago on this show. If you're going to give him all that money, you better do, you got to be smart. And I'm assuming they are. I like what Rick Spielman does. He's really good with the salary cap. In my opinion, he's really good with free agency. The Sheldon Richardson signing is huge. Because of the Kirk Cousins signing, I think the Sheldon Richardson kind of got swept under the rug a little bit. But, that's a 1-year prove-it deal for a guy who's a former first-round pick, a insane 3-technique guy. He's had a couple of subpar years in the sense of sacks, but he's a disruptive guy, and you put him next to Linval Joseph on the same line with Everson Griffin and Danielle Hunter. I'm telling you right now, that's really good. But going back real quick to the whole Cousins deal, if you're going to give the guy $84 million, that means you have to cut corners in other aspects. And I'm assuming the Vikings have already done their due diligence when it comes to the salary cap and figuring that type of stuff out, which is great. But again, I said 2 weeks ago, if you're going to do this, trade Anthony Barr. I'm telling you right now, this guy is so overrated. It just pains me to watch the guy play because he's so uber talented. He just doesn't have that fire. It's like Andrew Wiggins. I said this numerous times now. Those two are a lot alike. They're just the insane amount of talent, yet they just don't have that fire, that drive to be the best. They know they're really good, and they can, get by on just being really good. But if they had the hunger, if they had that fire, they could be dominant players. And Anthony Barr doesn't have it. He has done the exact same thing that Matt Khalil did, have a really strong rookie season, have everybody just really excited, and all of a sudden there's just this gradual down play. And if for whatever reason, they can't get back to where they were, they don't have the fire, whatever it is. So bottom line, get rid of Anthony Barr. Pull a Patriots, please. Right now, I guarantee you, across the league, people would be buying high on Anthony Barr. I think granted, you got him in the first round. I don't think you're going to get a first round pick for him, but I do believe you could get a second round pick for him. I truly believe that. And that would be huge because what's going to happen is the Vikings are going to end up giving this guy massive contract next year if they keep him. And he's not worth it. He's just going to sit and eat up so much money, and he's just not worth it. You can, especially with the D-line that you just put together with Sheldon Richardson, you can have just tacklers behind. Because if you're going to have a guy as athletic as Anthony Barr, why wouldn't you make him Lawrence Taylor-like? Have him rush off the edge. But Zimmer's defense isn't about that. So why have a guy like that on your defense? Get somebody in who's just a tackle machine, like the dude in Jacksonville, the Smith guy. I mean, somebody like that, who's just all about, or Thomas Davis-like kind of a guy in Carolina. You know, get rid of Barr, and this trade for Cousins will make a little bit more sense. And while you're at it, get Waynes the hell out of here too. He could, again, I've said that 1,000 times. That guy could get hit by a city bus, and I would give a shit. I do not. Trey Waynes he's one of the worst corners in the whole league. If they keep Trey Waynes, I just won't understand. Then again, they need a lot of corner help on that team because Mackenzie Alexander doesn't look very good either. But anyway, you know, it's one last tidbit on Kirk Cousins. The Vikings went 13-3 last year, NFC Championship game. There is just an unbelievable amount of pressure, in my opinion, that is going to be on Kirk Cousins to perform. He has so much pressure because, to me now, he has to outdo 13-3. Not necessarily even 13-3, but if it's not a Super Bowl, I look at Kirk Cousins as being a bust. That is where it's at right now. This is why you went out and signed him, is it not? $84 million to do what? Just get back to the playoffs? No. You know, so to me, this is something that is just, you better win, Kirk. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Dino, I love you back. So anyway, moving on. You know, I guess there's so many things that I can tangent off of. The whole guaranteed contract deal, I don't necessarily think that is going to take stride. You know, let's just be real for a second. Everybody just says, yeah, they're football players, they should get guaranteed contracts because, you know, what if they get hurt? Exactly. That's why they don't get guaranteed contracts, because the owners aren't stupid. You know, like what if Kirk Cousins goes down the first game next year, or has something like a Teddy Bridgewater injury, you know, like next year, and the Vikings are tied to $84 million. They've put up, what was it? By losing Teddy 2 years ago, and let's just be hypothetical and say Teddy Bridgewater would be the starter still, right? He doesn't get hurt, he plays decent, whatever. So, being that he went down, the Vikings, to get Sam Bradford, gave up a first and a fourth to get Bradford, and then ended up paying, paying Bradford however much, 2 years, $36 million, and then had to get Kirk Cousins for $84 million. They've got over $114 million invested with the loss of Bridgewater via injury, and a first rounder and a fourth rounder, and I think another pick in there somewhere, because we lost a quarterback. Now you guarantee $84 million, and if Kirk Cousins gets hurt, then you have to go out and do it all over again. I mean, you got Trevor Siemian, but what's Trevor Siemian? You know what I'm saying? It's just like, that's why I don't believe guaranteed contracts are going to make it too far in the NFL. I just don't. It might gain traction a little bit, but it's going to be one of those situations where one guy gets, you know, like, think about what Aaron Rodgers is going to sign for now. If I'm Aaron Rodgers, I'm like, Kirk Cousins just got $84 million guaranteed. I'm 100 times better than Kirk Cousins. Yeah, I want double what he gets guaranteed. Aaron Rodgers is going to get $150 million guaranteed. And then what happens if he gets hurt? Think about this. That's why guaranteed contracts don't work in the NFL. It just doesn't make sense for the owners. And the owners know the players are, you know, replaceable. And, you know, granted, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, so forth, it's hard to replace those guys, obviously. But for the most part, we're talking about players who are expendable. And so if you get hurt, oh well, you know, and it doesn't cost the team itself that much. And quite honestly, I'm on the side of the owners in this. It's common sense. Baseball, basketball, yeah, guarantee them. If you get hurt playing those sports, you're a pussy. You know, if you get hurt playing football, it's football. You know, that's just what you do. You go into the sport knowing that that's a harsh reality that you could get hurt. You could have a career-ending injury on any given play. So why would an owner guarantee you money with that in the back of their head? It just, So I don't think the whole guaranteed contract is a really good idea. And I don't think it's going to, go too far. It might gain traction, but I'm telling you, these quarterbacks who are coming up, Aaron Rodgers, and eventually, your Jared Goff and Carson Wentz and so forth, they're going to get these massive contracts and get hurt. And a fan base, keep in mind, just the fan base. Think about how it would handicap your team if all of a sudden you gave $100 million guaranteed over 4 years to somebody, or, over 3 years, whatever. It's only going to go up. And then dude gets hurt. It's just like unreal. And Vikings fans, real quick, you talk about stability at the quarterback position. 3 years isn't necessarily stability. I know it is to Vikings fans because we've had like 20 quarterbacks in the last 20 years. So to Vikings fans, it's like, holy shit, 3 years. But, that's not stability. That's just not stability. It's everything about this deal was perfect for Kirk Cousins. Perfect. He's going to be good. He's going to be good. But this deal is great for Kirk Cousins. Whoever his agent is genius, by the way. Genius. And I love how his agent's like, oh yeah, these guaranteed contracts, the players should get it. I wonder why his agent is saying that. Shocking, I know. Just amazing. Okay, moving on. Jesus Christ, I'm telling you, I just talk about, time flies on this show. It's like when I'm on stage doing comedy. It's just like, that's 5 minutes already? Anyway, March Madness is happening right now. As I look at the bracket, it's nothing crazy, but if you guys, were like me on Friday night, watching basketball, watching Virginia versus the University of Maryland, Baltimore County, we all had a where were you moment. It's the first time in the history of college basketball March Madness tournament that a 16 seed beat the 1. It is now, they were 0-135, and now they are 1-135. And the craziest part about it is it was 21-all at half, which isn't surprising for a Virginia team and their defense, but then to have UMBC score 54 points in the second half and Virginia not, it wasn't ass kicking. It wasn't even like a buzzer beater 16 seed, like holy shit. It was an ass beating. It was awesome. Michael, it was so great to watch. What's really cool about it is I just read an article on ESPN. There's a group of 8 dudes who are all UMBC alum. They're in Vegas. They each threw in $100 to throw in $800 on UMBC. And they ended up winning $16,800. That's just awesome. That's just so funny. They ended up being like, let's just throw some money at it. Everybody thought they were literally just throwing their money away, right? And they ended up winning $16,800. They were a plus 2,000, and they ended up winning $16,800. That's just awesome. I love a story like that. But it was amazing to watch. It was really, really cool to watch. They got a decent squad. I will say this about Virginia. We see it in the NFL a lot. In football, if there's a team that has a really good defense, right? And, they're a really strong running game. The Vikings were that with Adrian Peterson for a while. It was just like run the ball, play good defense. If you get up, all the games are close, basically. But just by chance, if the defense ends up getting down, if you get down 2 scores and you're a running team, it's difficult to come back. And that is Virginia in a nutshell. Virginia, unfortunately, poor guys, really. But when you all of a sudden don't play defense like you usually do, and you're uncharacteristic on that side of the ball, and the other team can't be stopped, you can't come back. It's just difficult for an offensive, a team that's deficient on offense to come back in a game like that. All of a sudden, you're down 15, and I'm sitting here watching the game thinking, they're going to come back. I was watching with a friend of mine, and I'm like, yeah, they'll come back. They'll come back. And because they don't have a good offense, they didn't come back. And they couldn't stop UMBC. It was awesome to watch. The other squad that's really fun to watch is this Loyola Chicago. Aside from that, in the tourney, in the bracket, it's nothing that is, too shocking. A lot of the teams are, who are supposed to be there are, for the most part. I feel bad for Purdue. Their big guy went down, so we'll see how they do against Butler here, going on. But for the most part, it's kind of status quo, which is good for the Sweet 16 and beyond because you have the best teams playing each other. But it's fun to see a UMBC, obviously, and this Loyola Chicago team. They ended up beating Miami the other day on Thursday. And then yesterday, and funny enough, they beat Miami 64-62. And then yesterday, they end up beating... Who the hell did they play yesterday? Tennessee, 63-62. So, 64-62 and then 63-62. Pretty impressive. But, so it's stuff like that. I love seeing stuff like that. Today it's going to be a fun time. I can't remember... nothing too crazy as I look at the deal. I would say the fun one tonight is West Virginia and Marshall, just because they're so close to each other school-wise. Marshall's offense is run by D'Antonio, the coach for Houston. His brother, Michael Stevens. Say hi to McKenna. She doesn't believe you talk to me. She doesn't realize how cool her dad is. I love it. Hi, McKenna. But that's going to be a fun one because Marshall's offensive style is so up and down. It's just like, Mike D'Antonio at Houston. But West Virginia has that suffocating defense, and that is going to be fun. Plus, it's the pride of West Virginia on the line too. Real quick, Michigan yesterday in that buzzer beater. Over Houston. What a crazy game. This is why March Madness is just so amazing. It's just so amazing. And finally, I guess I should hit real quick because Tiger is on in an hour. I think Tiger's tee time is at 10:30 today. You know what? He will eventually win. As long as his back is good and he goes injury-free, Tiger is back, bitches. And I said it so long ago, and this is the second week in a row that he's playing on Sunday in contention. He's still 5 shots out, but he has won the Bay Hill Invitational, being 5 shots down before. But there are some badass mofos who are at the leaderboard. Rory McIlroy went off yesterday, and he's right up there. I'm trying to see real quick, bring it up. But, Henrik Stenson so far is, led for all, 54 holes so far. Bryson DeChambeau, can we just say this real quick? I don't know if anybody, is watching anybody outside of Tiger, but this guy should be shot. He takes so goddamn long on every shot. I don't get how they don't tell this dude to, I know yesterday they gave him a little poke being like, hey man, you need to speed it up. But I just don't understand how, you can be so, I get golf is about analytics and, you can be anal about certain things, but Jesus, God. Who else is on there? Like I say, McIlroy, Ricky Fowler is on there, Charlie Hoffman, Patrick Reed. You got some big-time players in the hunt. And then Tiger, obviously, at a -7. You know what? I don't obviously, if he wins a tourney, that'd be great. But if Tiger went out and shot another, like a 67, went 5 under today, that would just be dope. It would be dope. Even if he doesn't win, I just love Tiger. I just love where his mind's at. I appreciate greatness. I don't give a shit too much about what they do on the outside. If he wants to bang hookers, whatever. There's a lot of people who do that. So I'm not going to, frown on him. But, he plays just unbelievable golf. And it's something that we've never seen before. And I hope he gets back to where he was because I love him. And, that it's good for the game. It's good for me on my Sundays. I'm so
10
stoked.
seconds.
10 seconds on Blog Talk. Thank you so much for listening, the millions of you around the world. I will be back next Sunday at 9 a.m. Pacific, and I'm out on Blog Talk. Drive fast, take chances. Hold on one sec. The chime.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Goodbye. For those of you on Facebook Live, obviously, I love you guys. Thank you for joining in. Sorry I tangented so long on Kirk Cousins. The whole thing is, I shouldn't get worked up about it. At the end of the day, it is what it is, right? If they had the money to spend it, I guess. To me, it looked desperate, being that I've been in sales so long, and I looked at the Vikings as just having such a great power position. And you know what? If you don't get Kirk Cousins, they act, I think in their head, they just outthought themselves. Like, oh my God, if we don't get Kirk Cousins, but whatever. I'm fine with it. I really am. I just think it's too much money unless you do, like I said, trade Barr. Don't pay that dude a dime. Do not pay him, please. And get rid of Trey Waynes. And, it's fine. I love the Sheldon Richardson move. I mean, that's huge, especially on a 1-year prove-it deal. To put him next to Linval Joseph, along with Hunter and Griffin, I'm telling you right now, that's insane. It's insane. It really is. As long as he can keep his head straight, because he's kind of a shithead off the field. As long as he can keep his head straight and play within those guys, holy cow. Holy cow. But there's some holes to fill on the Vikes. There's no doubt about it. And defensively, trade Barr, get a decent linebacker, and move on. So anyway, the tourney's already started. Tiger's on in an hour. Get yourself some breakfast, a mimosa, do whatever you need to do, hang out, and have an awesome day. And I will see you guys next week. I love you guys. Drive fast. Take chances. Tough love's out.